Hi, today we're talking about when our child comes out as transgender and begins to use a new name, how it can feel personal to us as parents. And it really has nothing to do with us. But when our children were little, right, before they were even born, we thought long and hard about the name we wanted to give them. And for 9 months, we spent thinking about this name, deciding on a name, practicing the name. Maybe we shared about it with others. And then once our child was here, we gave them this name that we would use over and over for however many years it was between when our child was born and when they came out as transgender, which, depending on how old your child was, could have been decades, right? And so when we learn that our child is going to have a new name because they have socially transitioned to being transgender or non-binary, it feels sometimes like a gut punch, like something has been taken from us, even though it's not about us, like I already said. But the idea that that name will no longer exist can be so hard to think about, that we'll never hear that name again in relationship to our child. It's like unimaginable almost. And then this new name that we don't associate with our child all of a sudden arrives on the scene, and our brain doesn't know what to think of it, right? Because we have this muscle memory that I've talked about before that associates this name with our child, and now it has to be replaced with a new name. And so all those pathways in our brain that have been created for all these years of speaking and writing and thinking about this one name in association with our child have to be erased and rewritten over with this new name. And that takes time and practice, and you have to write and speak and text and think about your child using this new name in order to be able to do it effortlessly and without thinking about it and without making mistakes, because your brain will automatically want to revert back to that name that you're no longer going to use anymore. And so it feels hard and it feels painful because you're grieving that loss of that name that you chose so carefully and lovingly with this new name that oftentimes you had nothing to do with. And there is a sadness there that can exist, which is normal and it's fine. And we struggle because we're like, we don't understand why this is so hard. We have used other people's names in other situations, Sandy got married and started using a different last name, and it wasn't this hard to use her last name. Like, why am I having such a hard time? We don't have a personal connection to Aunt Sandy's last name. When she said, I'm going to be Sandy's such and such, after a couple times of practicing and maybe forgetting and having to remember what the name was, our brain was like, okay, fine. Like, this is Sandy's new last name, and we move on with our lives. And it's that personal connection that we have with our child's name that makes it so difficult for us to move forward and to make that change and to do it effortlessly and without thinking about it. And so if you are struggling to use your child's name and wondering why you've been able to do it for other people so easily and effortlessly, I want you to just think about that and take that into consideration, and just know that it's just going to take time and practice. Some things that help are to use your child's new name right away. Use it often. Use it in as many different ways as you can writing, texting, saying it out loud, using it with other people. All those things help make those new connections in your brain between that name and your child's. And then put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. Make it the connection, the contact in your phone, so that whenever your child's texting you or contacting with you, it pops up and you can see it with the photo of your child, which will help make that new connection for you also. So I just wanted to come on here and remind you that things that often seem like they should be easy aren't always easy, and not always for the reasons that we think they are not easy. Okay, and that's all I have, and we will talk again soon.